Hi, Cal. Hi, Shannon. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Cal, did you get all those measurements I sent you last week when we did the measurements of Shannon and the seating?
I did. Thank
Excellent.
you. Yes, absolutely.
And so Shannon's got a goal that she wants to access the community using a wheelchair so that she can go shopping on her own. So we're needing a wheelchair that can be used on public transport, out on the walkways, and something that can perhaps be used in the shopping centre so that she can reach the items higher up on the shelves and things like that. So
Sure.
it'd be great to see what you've brought with you, and if you can show us what you've got and how it works and see if they're suitable for Shannon given the dimensions that you've got for her.
No problem. We'll start straight away. So the first chair we're going to get Shannon in today is the Quickie Q300M, which is to my right. And as you can see, that's got what they call a captain's seat on it. So it doesn't really have a rehabilitation seat set up. What that basically means is that the seat on top of the power chair is a lot like a scooter seat. So it has some adjustability backwards and forwards with the recline position of the seat itself. There is some height adjustment available in the armrests also. And the chair is fitted with a tilt package, but it is also available with a vertical lift package. So the one that I've got here today has the tilt function only, but we can use this chair to sort of ascertain whether or not the seating fit and functionality beyond that are suitable for Shannon. Once we've done that, we can have a look at the second chair that I've bought, which is hiding behind me, which actually does have the vertical lift on it. So we can use that as a guide to show anybody who's watching what that vertical lift operates like and how that functions for the user, and you know the sort of advantages you get from having that feature on the chair, as it were. So for a start, we'll get Shannon to transfer into the chair that we've got here, which is the Quickie, and we'll have a look at how that goes. Excuse me while I step across and put my computer down. Okay, get this out of the way for now.
How's that feel, Shannon?
Good. Yeah, I am comfortable in it, so it's good.
Okay, so if you wouldn't mind turning sort of 90 degrees from how you are now so we can get a side-on view, and I'll come back into the camera. So no, actually the whole chair, so if you go around to you, yeah, exactly right.
All right, mate.
And that will give everybody a bit of a look at how your posture's going at the moment in relation to how you're seated. So currently you're sitting pretty well, to be quite honest. One of the adjustments we would make immediately is actually raising this armrest. Your elbow's about 1.5 inches, too high from where that's positioned. I can certainly do that in just a moment. I don't want to block the camera while I still talk about what we do need to do.
Yep.
Can I get you to go closer back towards the doors behind you, Shannon, so everybody can see how your feet are positioned, if you wouldn't mind?
Still right angle?
Yeah, right angle is good.
Is that far enough?
That's good. I can see from there. Thanks, Shannon.
Okay, very good. So the foot plates might have to come up maybe 1/2 inch or so. Similar situation to your elbows. Your heels, the heels of your feet are just off the foot plate. Once again, that's another easy adjustment that we can make. It's a couple of minutes if you can wait for me to swing the tools or one of my colleagues, which is how we generally operate when we're on a trial. That's pretty straightforward. So Shannon doesn't know this wheelchair at all, so I'm going to run her through how to operate it. And if there are any mistakes, it's because she's got a really bad teacher. So if I could get you to drive in a little bit closer and I'll give you the rundown on the controls. So you obviously know how to turn it off and on. We'll start from the start though. You've got your universal power button at the top there. Below that, you've got a horn, which is right next door to useless. Use your voice, people. If you can talk, ask people to get out of your way. Nobody knows what a beep beep actually means, okay? Below that, we've got our speed control, left and right. So the left is the slower, the right has the logo and that gets bigger, so the speed gets faster. Below that is your chair functionality. So I'm going to ask you, if you wouldn't mind, please turning that on for the moment. Hit the horn and prove my point. Told you. Okay, you've got your speed control under that. Now, if I could ask you to press your chair seating function button, which is below your speed, which is one of these. Sorry, I've just done it for you. Now, if you could pull back on your joystick, and don't be alarmed.
Okay, so we're tilting.
We are tilting back at the moment.
Yep.
Okay, so
Move.
you can still drive while you're in that function as well. So if you press the seating function button again.
Either one.
Either one, yeah. It'll go back into drive mode for you. And if that's going a bit fast, you can also, pop it
Then
down a
I
little bit
can
back into your seating function.
a bit forward so I don't hit the table.
Yeah, well done. Just mind the table behind you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the seating function.
I'm going to come behind you here so I'm not peeking in from the edge.
Great. How do you feel doing that, Shannon, being tilted?
It's a bit different, but it's good. So Cal's just fixing my headrest.
Right.
I'm just going to do a quick adjustment on the armrest as well.
It would be helpful just to know dimension-wise the width of that seat and if that's narrow enough for Shannon.
Sure, we'll have a look at that. So as you can see from what we've got Shannon in at the moment, it's a fairly compact, comfort backrest seat. We don't really have any variation to that theme with regarding it being narrower. All of the captain seats are generally wider than this one because it's such a narrow power base. It's just naturally got a very sort of narrow seating system on it. So the backrest it's filled out pretty well. I mean, there's probably, I'll take a measurement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll get you to lean back. I'll try not to poke you. So we're about 2.5 inches wider on either side of where, basically Shannon's measurements on her torso are.
Yep.
We're just not going to be able to do anything with that if we go with that type of seating. So that's going to be as small as it's going to be allowed with a captain style seat. When I show you the other seat, you'll see what some of the other options are. Whether or not they're appropriate under Shannon's current needs, probably not, but we'll still talk about them anyway. So,
okay.
So even knowing what we're after today, I brought another chair that we're not going to need, but we're going to need to look at so we can say that we've exhausted our options. So
yeah, it's good to have that comparison, and for Shannon, for you to have an experience of both chairs to see what you feel most comfortable with and understanding all the functions that are available to you. So that would be great, Cal. Thanks.
No worries at all. I think we should probably get into the other chair and have a bit of a look-see at the differences between the two and talk about the seating options as well. I'm going to turn my back to the camera, bring the other chair in screen, and we'll get a transfer. First thing we're going to do is actually play with the headrest. We can't show off the tilt function without Shannon being properly supported. It's a bit of a no-go. So we'll get this a little bit higher. I will say when we do these trials with the power equipment and complex seating, please have a little bit of patience with people like me who need to use tools. They don't come naturally. So
Shannon, how does that seat feel compared to the other one?
It definitely feels more comfortable.
Okay.
I think because the backrest and the seat are more cushioned, and there's these thigh guards as well, which make you feel a bit more protected.
Okay, that's good.
But it might not be that necessary. It might just be more of a comfort addition, but I'm not sure if it would be necessary.
So is that seat the same width as the other one, Cal?
it is, yes. So technically it's the same width, but we've actually got specs thigh guides in there that are bringing the overall seating surface width down to about 14.5 inches.
Okay.
So, you know, it's actually giving some support down Shannon's thighs and making her feel like she's not confined, but, you know, comfortably being held in the seat, as it were. So I am going to show you a couple of features, or instruct Shannon on how to work the features of this controller. It's a little more complicated than the other one, but the chair can have more functions as well. Yes, so I've managed to pull out a really good guesstimation with the setup on this one.
Right.
I do need to be honest and say I'm not happy with the backrest. It's a little bit low. There's a bit of a space between where Shannon's headrest is positioned and where her support level is up the, you know, the height of her back. So
it's good to see you at eye level, Shannon.
Yeah.
How does it feel being up high?
Great.
Yeah.
It's a great option. I think this is...
I can see the difference there with the thigh guards in how you're sitting. That looks pretty good. And Tal, from where I was looking from before, it looked like positioning wise, her knees, hips and the armrests all look to be pretty well set at 90-degree angles. So you mean this point, Cal, where the seat here?
So I would preferably have this backrest ending up about here.
Okay.
Okay, just so we've got more support. And it's not so relevant in this upright position, but we need to bear in mind we're probably going to use tilt on this chair at some point.
Yep.
And without having that extra support surface there, it's actually already in the backrest. All I need to do is bring the whole thing up.
Right.
Instead of where it's sitting at the moment. So there's residual surface area down behind the back of the cushion at the moment, which means just some minor adjustments, you know, sort of 5 minutes with the tools. Would have the backrest up in a good height, would have a nice compact setup with the headrest sitting not too far above the height of the backrest. And away we go. Everything would be where I'd like to see it. We're close, but, you know, we need to start somewhere.
Well, great. Well, Shannon, this is how it would feel, you know, to be at that higher level, to reach the things that you want to get in the shopping centre. And I guess having a feel for this now, a little test drive is a good way to see if you like that feeling or not. And as Cal mentioned, we can talk more afterwards and reflect on how you feel in both of those seats, the captain style versus this style, to see which one you feel more comfortable in and what you think you'd like. So would it be okay then maybe if we set up a trial for one of these chairs for maybe a week or so that Shannon can actually try it with her carer in going out in the community in it, to see how that feels and give it a test run?
Absolutely. We do leave equipment at home. Quite often we'll go to the initial trial and figure out that there are things that we might need to change before we're comfortable leaving a chair with a client. As far as the time frame that we leave equipment on site for, it varies depending on, you know, the demand for the equipment. It's always a minimum 3-day trial though. So, you know, sometimes we can work that so it starts on a Thursday and ends on a Tuesday. That's not 3 days, but that's just the way it works out. So, you know, if you want us to be cheeky, just give me a warning and we'll see what we can figure out.
That sounds great. All right, Shannon. Well, I think we've got some good ideas here about what the different options are for you. They both will enable you to do that activity that you want to do. It's just a case of maybe feeling them out so that you know what it's like to drive them out in the community and doing a real world kind of test drive. And I think for us to talk more about the type of seat that you prefer and the foot plate operation as well, about to avoid the amount of times that you need to bend down and lift something, that maybe we'll look at the single foot plate option with the strap and a few other things. But I think from what I saw, that elevation option might be really good for you and optimize your shopping experience. So we'll go ahead with the trial and do a feedback session and go from there. Looks great. Thanks so much, Cal, for doing all of that. And if you could send me the details of the chairs as well and the dimensions that you think best fit Shannon, we can go from there and start getting some quotes.
No worries at all. I'll send you an email.
Great. Well done, Thanks. Shannon. Anything that you want to ask?
No, sounds good. I'm excited.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, both of you.
No worries.
Bye.
Bye-bye.